Hello, and welcome to a special edition of the preview show to help get you ready for this weekend's monumental UFC 300 card. I'm your host, Austin, aka No Special, and with me today is our boy in Ohio, Lazybed, and also joining us from the UK is our Count of Casuals, Sir Dangermouse. But we're going to talk about some of the more notable fights on the card for this weekend and have our roundtable discussion. And also here is our editor-in-chief, Dave.
Dave's not here.
We'll open the discussions for the card. Idea being we're just going to have a roundtable discussion, nothing too serious. We don't need a breakdown of the entirety of the event. We're going to probably stick to the main card and go from the top down. So, opening up is the light heavyweight championship. Alex Pereira, the current champion, versus the former champion, Jamal Hill, looking to take back his belt that he never lost. I'll leave it open to you guys and see how you guys want to, go into this.
As I think that every angle, forwards, backwards, upside down, inside out, has been covered of this event and this fight and everything involved with it, throughout the last couple of weeks in the build up to this. I don't think we need to get too real technical here, like Austin was saying. A lot of people are kind of wishy-washy on this main event. They don't think that it's necessarily has the star power to carry a card of this magnitude.
I think it was just bigged up too much by Dana. That was why everyone was expecting Brock versus Tom Aspinall or something.
Yeah, I think he definitely didn't really do himself any service by hyping it up as much as he did. But I think also that probably has to do with, didn't they have several potential main events lined up that fell through? Or at least that's the rumor.
I don't know.
Yeah, I imagine that they probably had other guys in mind, ahead in line that declined. But
Yes.
Like I was saying on the Discord earlier, I think I was talking to JK. If you've been around this sport for any amount of time, you could take a look at this fucking card and you could see that this is probably, likely, on paper, the best card they've ever assembled, top to bottom.
Oh yeah,
so
sure.
whether you're super hype on the main event or not, it has its storylines. It has its its place in the lore of the last year or two. So, will it stand the test of time as far as like in 10 years when we look back on this? Will we say, oh, that was a worthwhile main event? I'm not really sure, but for the time being, it's got everything you need to qualify as a main event. So I'm not mad at it.
No, I don't.
No, yeah.
Go on, Austin.
Sorry, I was gonna say, yeah, no, absolutely. To your point, Lazy, there was, I think, even John Jones rumored on it. They had made claims that Connor was supposed to be ready, not booked for the card. They had also thought Izzy versus Drakus was going to be on the card. Something about Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad was supposed to be rumored as well. Tom Aspinall.
Well, that was never offered, was it? That's the amusing part of that one.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is that a lot of these things was like,
and yeah, none of
So
them
many-
was any all against Muslim guys, I believe. So
yeah,
all in Ramadan, all not going to say yes.
I mean, that's the thing. I think is that this being the main fight. I think what happened at UFC 200 with the debacle of, John Jones being stripped of his title and all that shenanigans that he pulled on, testing positive and whatnot, and all this other shit that was going on, and then it ended up just being Amanda Nunes versus Miesha Tate as your main event. And it wasn't so much that I think us being disappointed that was the main event. I think it's just a more of like, it's the centennial event. UFC 100 was bananas. UFC 200, it was more of a kind of like a WrestleMania where you're just kind of like things are happening, but you're just excited to be a part of it, because it's the 200th event, and then they sold right after that. So, um, the expectations for 300 were high. I don't think any of us can look at ourselves and think, oh no, they're not going to at least put something together, right? I think when we looked at what was originally offered, we were kind of like thinking to ourselves, what the hell are they going to do with this card? Right? I don't think any of us were looking at it like, oh god, I think they got it right. Every one of us, I think, at some point was like concerned.
Especially with the way we saw them loading up 298 and 299, there was a lot of question in the air about where we were going to find ourselves for this 300 event. But like I said, all in all, I ain't mad at it. I mean, it's a light heavyweight title fight that's got a backstory. You got the whole I think it was Laura Sanko that was saying it recently. It's like an old mixed martial art, or not mixed martial arts, but an old martial arts movie where like you have the protege who's come back to avenge his sensei, and come out and take out the guy that defeated Glover, and all the photos beforehand of Alex staring from over the octagon, looking at Jamal. And I don't know. It's got its pizzazz, and there's gold on the line.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true. I mean, I didn't think Pereira was as popular as you were saying, Lazy. And then I was looking at some of the.
Popular.
I didn't believe it until you said it. I was like, what the hell?
Dude, it's shocking how big his following is. Like, the dude is a mega star.
Yep.
Maybe
that little one he did. That was when you were asking before we started the recording, Austin, about any moments from the press conference, and I remembered one from the other day where one question was asked of him. Have you learnt any more new English for the US for this event? And he just looked down and just went, no. But then he kind of cracked a little bit as well. So if you can find it, it's well worth a look. I'm sure Dave will dig it out for the edit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't like. I was gonna say this before. I don't think that necessarily Hill carries the clout to shoulder the load for a main event on a card of this magnitude, but Alex definitely does. So if nothing else, by virtue, whatever.
I think it's just partly that division doesn't bring a lot of excitement either necessarily, not compared to say above the ones above it and below it.
No, well, I would say the division. What were you gonna say?
No, I was going to say, what's the overall talent level? Would you, if you were scoring it against out of 10, what would you score the division a whole in comparison, obviously, to lightweight or whatever else of the fantastic divisions that are around at the moment?
You know what? That's a fair point. Let me see. I would probably say a 5 if I was going to say anything. Probably a 5. It's got better athletes than heavyweight, I think, overall, because like we can all agree that the top 5 guys in heavyweight are like elite athletes, right? That you can't really say that about light heavyweight, right? But there's more of the athletes generally throughout the division because they're basically heavyweights that are coming weight, right?
Yeah.
Whereas middleweight are light heavyweights that are cutting weight to make middleweight, and there's a lot more craziness that's happening in that division. The only division that you can argue is like close to it as far as the men's divisions is probably flyweight, just because of the chaos of the top grouping. And even then, like that division's at least moving on. They're pushing contenders too, like what's his name, Ursig, like fight Pantoja. Like they're moving the division. This division has just been chaos since John has left, right? So
it's sad to see too, because light heavyweight used to be like the glamour division of the UFC back in the days of Chuck and Tito and all those dudes that were like the big guys.
Yeah, Randy and Vitor and whatnot. Oh yeah.
How the things have changed.
Oh yeah. Well, I
Is that-
mean, hey, it's getting more exciting now. I mean, we have a striker the likes of old school Chuck Liddell, except he's got leg kicks, and
Mhm.
he's a scary Brazilian,
Like takes.
a lot bigger too. You have a heavy-handed hitter, the likes of which the division has seen before. Like he's like the old school like hitters like Dan Henderson, Rampage, and Shogun, except he's just this unsuspecting big kid who can just wallop you. I,
Yeah.
it's surprising because he has terrible technique, and I'm not going to get into the whole footwork or how he leaves his chin open or anything like that, but he legit just has awkward style of striking, which I think gives him an advantage in the fight. But at the same time, it's like this is like what I think what we thought Jerry Prohaska versus Alex Pereira was going to be like a monster fight. You know, like, oh, look at these two scary big men who are going to kill each other in the cage. I think this is going to be more of that actual like Godzilla versus King Kong kind of thing, where it's like it's a monster movie. You know, you want to see what happens in it. You don't really care what the result is. You want to see the thing happen. You know.
Somebody's getting finished.
Yeah. It'll be
Somebody.
entertaining regardless.
So are we doing predictions?
Yeah, I was just going to
I
ask that.
I think we should.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Now
Yeah,
my
so we
question
could
is,
be.
I will
Yeah.
I will point out I'm not legally bound by anything I say right now.
that was going to be my next question. Is if we make the pick on here on the air, is that our official pick for the Discord?
I'm happy with 2 out of 3, so you'll have to accept that. I'm saying I'm happy with 2 out of 3. I don't know. I'm definitely happy with 1 out of 3.
Do you have the Discord picks in front of you, Mouse?
I can bring them up.
Okay. I don't want to be like dead wronging myself. I'm like, I'm 100% on Jamal Hill. I picked Alex Pereira.
I
God
was
damn it.
laughing at one of the picks you've made when I was looking earlier because there were 2 picks on it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if the other one was in.
Don't
And it
question my
was.
judgment. I guarantee it's probably Pereira that I picked.
You did indeed pick Alex. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll stick with my official pick. Then is going to be Alex Pereira by KO. That's what I will say, and it's going to be in the 3rd round.
Ooh, defining it.
I'm not too sure on the time or the method of victory, but I too am going to lean towards the Poetan side.
Ooh, that's interesting. I'm saying that's interesting because I'm looking at the picks and you've picked Jamal Hill on there at the moment.
Yeah, I've waffled on this. I've gone back and forth a couple of times.
Oh, you said
He's still got time. He's still got time. It's only Thursday.
They're not locked
Before
in
this
stone.
hits the air, I will swap it back.
Blame Austin for me being there looking. I wouldn't have nosed if it wasn't paying.
We have our editor for this.
It's that, like Austin was saying, you know, Jamal is kind of unorthodox and does things his own sort of way, and I think Alex is kind of used to that orthodox nature of most kickboxers, but at the same time, he's got that fucking ultimate equalizer in his left hand, and Jamal does get touched. They both do. So,
Yep, absolutely.
but yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Alex here.
You gotta favor the footwork of Pereira. I mean, even though he can be, you know, like a giraffe, sometimes kind of wobbly in his stance. But
I think it's ultimately going to come down to that leg kick too. That leg kick coming off Achilles injury.
You can't ignore those.
Yeah.
Legs. Not with Alex.
Yep. No, exactly. I mean, he's got deadly leg kicks and he's got a vicious counter. But
yeah. I'm trying to remember now, Austin. Did you just say that Yuri Prohaska had caused Alex some problems? Or
yeah.
Yeah.
No, because the way I thought about it was like it was going to be a monster fight. That the way that they were going to come at each other and just kind of like throw blows because they're both bigger for the weight class, right? Mm-hmm. Jury gave Alex Pereira some problems on the feet, not because he's the better striker, but because he's just unorthodox. Like he has a way of going into his like, you know, closing the distance, getting kicked in the leg, but still landing a heavy right hand. But also a leaping uppercut like I've seen before, which is insane. But Uh, but it's jury. That's what he does. He's unorthodox. Jamal Hill is he's like a oblong piece of wood that's buffed, but it's like imperfect. That's the only problem with it. So you're kind of like, oh god damn it, what? Like he's throwing the hook with his left hand way the fuck out, nearly dislocating his shoulder and shit. Like that's gonna be what we're seeing. It's gonna be technique that's imperfect, that's been polished, but it's not supposed to work. Oh, you didn't make a pick, Mouse.
No, I didn't. I'm leaning towards Alex. I have Alex picked at the moment, but I am curious. I might have to watch some more Jamal Hill before Saturday if I have enough time.
No, you two are fucking traitors. I swear.
No. He's picked. It's very rare. I change my mind once I have something. So almost certainly I will go for. I'm just looking at the stats now, and 62% accuracy for Alex, 54% for Jamal. They both absorb about the same number of strikes as well. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's that's what I mean. It's just a close fight, and like the jury fight, there's a lot of expectation of like either guy can finish the other, and we've seen Jamal do that to some of the light heavyweights, and we've also seen Pereira do it to Jury, although he had a little struggle with Dan Blachowicz. So it's an interesting fight, and I'm not super hyped for it, but I'm still excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I guess Alex just isn't as big as he was at middleweight in this fight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're
He's
like
still pretty
identical.
fucking big.
He was a very big middleweight. Don't forget, he used to walk around at 220 pounds, I think, something like that.
Yep.
So he was very, very big at that weight. But yeah, I'm almost certainly going with Alex. I like him. Again, going back to his fandom.
He's just a likable
I do
dude.
love a leg kick victory as well. That's another reason I love Justin Gaethje. But I think we'll be jumping onto him in a short while.
Yeah. All right. Did
So,
we have anything else? Did you have any other points you want to bring up with this fight?
No, I don't think so. No, I'm more curious about Jamal Hill. I can't remember much about him. I think I did watch a little bit of his footage this afternoon, but it didn't stick very hard if I did. So yeah.
You
But
lazy?
like you said, it's a super close fight. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
coin flip one.
Yeah. That's my whole thinking
I
on
have
it.
seen some people questioning Alex's chin, but considering he got dropped by Easy that one time, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and I think that those questions kind of went away with him moving up a weight. I think a lot of that had to do with him.
Exactly. I was just going to say that would have made a difference.
Yeah.
But
a little bit more water.
Yeah. So it looks like all three of us are going for Alex at the moment.
At the moment.
Chama.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. We'll jump to the next the co-main event women's strawweight fight between Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan, and the all Chinese strawweight title fight.
That's all at the wrong card.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think we could all agree. I feel like this is just misplaced, not because it's not a good fight. I think it's just I feel like they could have done this and done something else with it, but it's neither here nor there. You know, I like Weili, and I don't dislike Yan Xiaonan. Honestly, I think this is a great fight. Like I've heard a lot of people just not care about it, and that's fine. Not a whole lot of people will care about majority of women's fights, and that's just the way the sport works sometimes. But like, legitimately, I think this is going to be an interesting fight because they've both finished Jessica Andrade in the first, I think round, both of them, and it's just an interesting thing because they both fought Carla, and Carla mauled Yan Xiaonan, and Carla got beaten to a pulp and submitted by Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili, I'm sorry. I'm excited for it because I feel like this is going to be a clash of styles where Weili was the striker who turned into a grappler, and Yan has become a more well-rounded practitioner. She's still considered a striker, but she's like, all right, if I add takedown defense, I think I'll be better. And she's shown that that's helped. Also, she's got a little umph in her hands now, which she didn't have before.
Yeah, both these ladies can crack. That's
Yep, that's true.
Something that you don't often see at strawweight, or really in any of the women's divisions. It's not so often you come across a couple of ladies that can really lay some leather and potentially knock their opponent out here. But I think if I got to give my take on this fight, this is Weili's fight to win any way she wants. I think she's just all around. I think she's the more complete mixed martial artist. I think she's a better athlete. I think that, Jan, she's got a good punch on her. She's got some pretty solid stand up. But if Weili takes this thing to the ground, she's going to snatch that back up, no problem. And she's going to fucking choke her out. It's going to be an obliteration, in my opinion. So,
oh shit!
Yeah, if you're out there and you got money on Jan, I would strongly reconsider, because this is Weili's fight to lose.
Not a gambling expert.
Let me clarify there that I am not sponsored by DraftKings. I'm not getting
I'm still trying to process what I heard there. Is it?
I think it's a squash. I think this is a straight up squash match.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Holy shit.
Jan is a fish out of water on the ground. She's proven it multiple times. And if Weili has proven anything in her recent fights, she has done nothing but improve by leaps and bounds on the ground. So I really don't. Other than maybe clipping her, Jan clipping Weili, I really don't see a path to victory.
That's fair. I could see it. The way you described it, yeah, I can see it. If Weili just has her way like she did with Lemos, it just becomes a mauling at a
fight again today.
Yeah, that one, it was just it's
the same, but it wasn't. It's not quite the same as watching the entire fight. I did get to watch Xiaonan against Andrade, though. That was a nice stoppage. But I did just look up the records while you were talking there, and it was 2 minutes 20. She got that KO, 42 seconds for Weili. So yeah,
that's the thing.
KO.
Yeah, and one was unprecedented. The other one was unexpected. And I think that's the thing is, like, if you're looking at both these women, they've, like Lazy saying, actually, Weili has just adapted her game to benefit her. Is she the best striker? No. But she's turned herself into a better athlete. And I think that's a thing that we forget, is that sometimes it's not about who's got the better technique. Sometimes it's just about who's got the better athleticism in the fight, who can change the fight dynamic to fit their needs. Yeah. And I think Weili's got that a lot. I still give Xiaonan a good chance. She's got that power, just like, just to turn the tide of any fight. But at the same time, if she can't stop the onslaught of Weili's game, I don't know how she's going to overcome it.
Yeah, she really doesn't have the tools in her belt to be able to pull herself out of any of those really sticky situations that she might find herself in now. If Weili decides to just make this a gunfight and just, primarily stand on the feet, or if for whatever reason she's unable to get Jan to the ground, I could be singing a different tune here. I could be eating crow, because she can fucking knock anyone out in that division. I mean, she's got the ability. But I feel like Weili's she's like a juggernaut right now. She's just powering forward, and outside of the oddball chance that she gets clipped, like in the Rose fight, or
I don't think it's I don't know if it's fair to call that chances or exactly. I can't remember exactly how you put it now.
I think it was a perfect
It's fair-
circumstance for that opening that got her caught against Rose. So it's
Yeah.
like Whaley, but at the same time, it's just like, if Rose doesn't throw the front kick right off the bat, does that work? But I am excited to see the fight. Are you guys?
Yeah, fairly.
I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Um,
Okay. Anything else on this fight?
But I mean, it'll be a nice little rest, to be honest, between what's coming before it and what's going after it.
I almost wonder.
I'm not being unfair to be. I mean, in fairness, Whaley was part of one of the greatest of all time women's fights. So,
You
these two ladies are of equal age. If they decide to stand and bang and try and earn that $300,000 bonus,
oh yeah.
I'm sure Dana would love to hand out. Yeah, this could easily be a fight of the, and that's don't get me wrong, that's probably a bit of a curveball for me to say, but yeah, I don't see why not. Well, he was part of one of the greatest fights.
Yeah.
Why not two of the greatest fights of all time? And remember, these ladies are both going to be fighting to be the best in China, which would be huge to both of them, I'm sure.
And you do make a good point too, DM, because after it wouldn't be smart for them to have the BMF fight directly before the main event, because you're going to be coming off of that emotional roller coaster and that adrenaline dump to go straight into the main event. People are going to be they're not going to get that same sort of pop that they would. So to have not to discredit them, but to have the Whaley Yon fight between the two, it'll give us a nice little palate cleanser to kind of come down a little bit and replenish our batteries.
It's going to be a night of serious ups and downs, I suspect.
Yeah.
I'm saying night, it's going to be afternoon for me because I'm playing poker before it, so I'll probably get back home in time to watch it.
There you go. No,
But I
to
will be
prove
watching
your
it Sunday morning / afternoon.
nice. I was gonna say to Lazy's point, yeah, that's I think we found out that having two amazing fights back to back with Adesanya versus Israel Adesanya versus Kelvin Gastelum before Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier.
Yes.
Yep.
Just emotionally drained for the second fight. And it's still a great fight, but you're like, it's crazy. Oh my god. You're like, oh my god, what just happened?
But you can't really give it the same amount of energy and excitement and passion that you want to, because you're still fucking coming down.
Oh yeah.
The crash, the post fight come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that adrenaline
dump. Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing on this one, an all Chinese title fight. I don't think there's ever been that inside the UFC. Is this a bad booking, or is it just like this is all they can come up with on a short notice?
Well, they had a China fight planned, didn't they? Aren't they going to China in a few weeks? Unless they're thinking about not going to China.
I don't even think that's solidified.
Is it not? I wasn't sure. I'm sure there were talk. I'm sure there was. I knew there was talk.
Yeah, I've heard it getting tossed around, but I don't know if they've actually nailed down a date.
Fair enough then. Yeah.
I think part of this, I think, is they just needed another title fight on this card, and the options were limited.
Yeah. Imagine if they could have waited for Islam, and if the fucking fight with Alexander Volkanovski could have just waited.
Yeah.
Imagine. But you can't change.
Controversial opinion. They could have just extended the lifespan by calling it, 298.5.
That's true. Yeah, they could have, and then they could have.
They have done it before.
Yeah, just
yeah.
We'll just extend it long enough that all the Muslim fighters have been out of Ramadan and have had a chance to go back, and it'd only be a month difference.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe even a couple of weeks if you wanted to push it. Then you could have had Leon versus Shavkat, Islam versus whoever, Dustin. In fact, no, it wouldn't be Dustin, would it? I don't know, actually. That's interesting. Who would they have picked?
Well, we'll get into that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, well, before we move on, picks. I'm picking Wei. I'm assuming you guys are the same.
I haven't decided, in all honesty. I probably will after the discussion we've had tonight. I'll be settling on Whaley, but I'm
Yeah,
not definitely
I think
not 100% banking on sticking to that pick. I don't think I've even clicked an icon in the fight predictions channel yet for that one.
Oh,
Oh no, I have.
but
I also picked Whaley, so
there we go. What about you,
and
Lazy?
I was gonna say I think that I made myself pretty clear earlier on in this little segment here. It's Whaley all the way, baby. Magnum Whaley. Bang bang.
I don't know. I might do an Austin and actually change over to Xiaonan Yan.
Oh,
Because I don't care who wins particularly, so I might just have a laugh and go for the underdog.
yeah, that's fair. This one's one of those fights. I think you neither of them are particularly hated or even like disliked. I think they're both liked, and everybody loves Whaley to begin with.
I've just looked and I've been reminded of the fact that Austin is the only person to have picked. I'm sure we'll get to that in a
What?
I bet you I know
Okay.
who it is. I bet you I know.
If you've forgotten, I'm going to have a laugh telling you. But yeah, let's go on to the next one. The people's main event.
That's fair. All right, and with that, we will go to the lightweight fight, which honestly is the feature bout, but it should be the main event. But that's neither here nor there. It is for the BMF championship. Justin Gaethje, the standing defending BMF champion, versus Max Blessed Holloway. Oh my God, gentlemen!
I have such mixed feelings about this fight.
Oh God.
Oh my God, there's so much that we could talk about on this alone, just from the matchmaking point, the fact that it's two divisions that could be wrecked after this, or just the fact that we could possibly have a favorite fighter that loses all momentum, or the possible damages and whatnot. But let's focus on the positives. Let's focus on the positives. Try to keep it positive here. And not dwell on the negatives too much, because then it might just become a sad podcast, and I don't want that. Fight of the year candidate over the top.
Yeah.
I know I might jinx it by saying that, but goddamn, I don't think you can not get a fight of the year from this. Can you?
No.
It seems difficult. I'm sorry for Curtis and
Oh, yeah.
Talon, but I don't think you're going to be fight of the year.
No.
Not when this is the following fucking week after your fight.
That was a joke of I don't know who suggested that, but not a good call.
That was the broadcast. The broadcast.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, of course it was.
Fight of the year. Like, bro, do you not realize? Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, guys.
But yeah, this one has to be. I don't think either guy. Well, both guys have pretty much said they're going to come out and keep it standing. That's not a surprise with Justin Gaethje, obviously. But I don't think Max Holloway is in the mood to do anything but give an exciting fight. Then again, he has. What was it now? He fought Qatar, and who was it? He fought Qatar, Austin.
Calvin Cater and
Who fought Max after Calvin Qatar?
he
Wasn't
fought.
Bulk fights?
Yeah, he had fought Volk, and then he had because he had fought. Hold on, sorry. Yair Rodriguez, Volkanovski, and then Allen, and then Chen Sung Jung, the Korean zombie.
Yeah, Yair Rodriguez, I think it was. Didn't he end up taking him down?
He did.
That was the that way.
Yes.
Yeah, my terrible memory occasionally.
Well, that's the interesting fight, because before the third Volkanovski fight, which was the very next fight, he took a that was like the fight that he took a ton of damage. Like Yair came to bang, and it wasn't even like it wasn't even considered a fight that you were like super hyped about. It was a fight that you were excited for, but you were pretty sure Max was going to win, and Yair basically gave him
I
a
was
run for
thinking
his
he was
money.
going to do. I was thinking he was going to another thing is like he did on for old Calvin and put a clinic on him, and he just didn't. Clearly didn't
No, well,
stay
it,
banging with him.
it was the leg kicks that basically threw him off, and like Justin Gaethje does, Yair basically established the leg kicking game early and just never let off of the of the kicking game. And I don't know if you were going to bring this point up, Lazy, but like the way Volkanovski handled him in the stand up and just kind of made it look easy. After that, there's a possibility of like does he introduce a different aspect to the game? Like he did toss Cub Swanson on his side a couple of times, and I know he's done that to a couple of fighters where he's just done that step in toss, almost like how, oh god damn it, the British fighter who fought recently, MVP against Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
It's like a step behind push, but I don't know if he's going to be willing to try that against Justin, especially with the leg kicking game and the heavy hands that he brings. But the concept that I have with this fight is that they are both primarily stand-up fighters. Justin does not engage in the ground game at all. Max has dabbled in it and actually has submitted somebody before. So
don't forget Justin did get his first takedown just 2 fights ago.
Against that dude he was literally like never considered going to the ground against, and it's like he baited him just like Dan Henderson would. Like Dan Henderson would occasionally like, stand up with you and just like fucking trip you and get the takedown on you and stuff, but it wasn't like because he wanted to. It's just like, fuck, I'm getting too old for this shit and take you down.
I know. I don't think Justin would have much chance of doing that in this fight. He's already said, I think, pretty much said, he just wants to inflict enough damage on Max that he stops him, and I kind of hope that's leg damage. But there's been a lot of talk about Max. I think, weren't you saying before the show, Austin, that a lot of the pros have come out and said that they're picking Max?
Yeah, that surprised me.
Mm-hmm. And I had Guru do a breakdown on him the other day, and it was a decent breakdown. I couldn't put any fault on it. Max is a bit of a cardio monster as well, and Gaethje does tend to flag a little bit more towards the end of the more rounds he has to fight. He didn't fight to the end against Tony, but obviously he put such a mauling on Tony that stopped. So yeah, I guess. If you're betting on cardio, maybe you can pick Max. I don't think you can pick Max on KO power, but then again, Justin doesn't KO that many people. He doesn't spark many people flat out. I know he did with Dustin, but that was a kick to the head. He doesn't tend to flat KO people that often. I'd have to check his record and see how many. Unless Austin is going to pull that figure out from.
No, I was gonna say he's got a pretty good record. I don't know if you wanted to add to this, Lizzie, where he knocks people down and then kind of like gets a wallop on them. Like he's got a pretty good like you said, not flat knockout power. He thuds you. He thuds the shit out of you, right?
That's fair. I've heard people saying how hard he hits. As BC likes to mention, Khabib says that.
I've got a lot that I could add to this fight. A whole fucking lot. I feel like we could do the whole goddamn show on just this fight.
We could.
This fight could be probably would make a better full show than discussing the full card. This fight is the single most exciting fight that I think we could see right now, and it's also the single most scariest fight for me as a Max fan, even though I feel like he does have a shot in this fight. You don't go into a Justin Gaethje fight and come out unscathed. I don't care who you are. Yes, you guys are correct. Justin isn't necessarily a one-touch knockout artist, although he can be. He does tend to thud and wallop you into fucking oblivion. Max, more so of a volume artist, as we know. He likes to pepper them shots in there. If he does get a stoppage on Justin, it's going to be an accumulation of blows. Maybe some sort of a swelling doctor stoppage. I could see that on either side. I've got so many fucking things running through my head that I want to say about this that I'm just getting jumbled. This fight's really going to come down to Max's lead leg, because we all know Max is a boxing heavy style, and that means he's going to be heavy on that lead leg, and Justin whips those fucking kicks in there like baseball bats. If he takes out Max's leg, we're in for a long night if you're a Holloway fan.
Why would you say that?
Luke did a very good breakdown of this fight, and he was pointing out what Volk did to sort of circumvent Max's game plan, and it was constantly circling to his left, or no, towards his right into Max's jab hand, to negate the jab, because Max's game is predicated heavily off of his jab. Everything comes off of the jab. So I think also a lot of what this fight's going to come down to is who is corralling who is out-circling the other, who's able to more efficiently wrangle their opponent. And those leg kicks are going to play a heavy fucking role in this. I hate this fight and I love this fight.
It's a mix of emotions, and I love it. It's terrible and it's awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. My fucking palms are going to be sweaty. I'm going to be like, this is going to be one of those fights where, like, yeah, this is going to be a roller coaster.
Yeah. By that point in the night, if I haven't lost my voice beforehand, due to the insaneness that this card can deliver, or is looking that it can deliver, due to all the matchups that are on it. By this point, if I haven't lost my voice just before the first round starts, I will definitely lose it immediately after.
I might need to change my underwear.
There is a part of me that looks at this fight and thinks Max can do it. I want Max to do it, but I also want Justin to get the title. And it,
Exactly.
yeah, so that's the other aspect that I think I hate about this fight, because I love just the matchup of it at 155. Had Max, like, okay, after he fought Dustin and that whole, him going back down to featherweight to, like, try to get another shot at the title, like, I would have honestly just preferred him to just, like, take a year off, come back, and then as a proper lightweight. He's got the frame of a lightweight. He might not be the biggest lightweight, but he's got a pretty damn decent chin. And if he, like he is now, coming in as an actual lightweight, not cutting weight,
extra 10 pounds.
Yeah, like he's actually showing up and not just as a featherweight who's in shape at lightweight, but as a proper
some extra muscle on. He's looked big.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
you've seen of him.
Yeah, and I wish this would have happened sooner. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I like the concept of Max being at 55. But, like, goddamn, man, like, this is a hell of a fight to pick. Like, oh God,
You made me just think of something, Austin, too. You made me think of actually a super chat that I did on the MMA fighting, one of their preview shows. This is one of those fights that I think no matter who is your favorite in this fight, it's kind of one of them situations where this is going to end more bitter than sweet no matter how you chop it, because
yes,
you have two of the most beloved figures in the UFC with a ton on the line as far as the future of their careers and where they sit at in the UFC and their positions that they hold, like so much is on the line. It seems like this is inconsequential in the grand scheme. It's just a BMF fight. You know, Max is moving up. Justin's like, this doesn't really affect his standings in the division. Max is in the lightweight, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, this has huge, huge consequences, whether you're talking about career-wise or health-wise. And somebody has to fucking lose. So there's a portion of the fan base out there that's going to be fucking heartbroken no matter which way this fucking thing unfolds.
God damn.
Yeah, that's why I say I kind of hope it finishes on leg kicks. That'd suit me. I have no desire to see Max's unbreakable chin cracked.
No.
And Justin, I like Justin. You know, he's the highlight. 12 fights, 12 bonuses. Just how can you not like Justin Gaethje's fighting at the very least? I know certain people don't like his alleged politics or because he went shooting with Kadyrov and his kids. Some people judge against him for that, but I guess that's part of being one of Ali Abdelaziz's fighters. I try not to let what fighters do in their life away from interfere with my thoughts on their fighting. So yeah, I don't judge Justin for that. He is what he is, the most exciting fighter in the UFC of all time. I dare I say. I don't think Austin or you might be able to pull someone up from history that's more exciting than Justin, but I can't think of one. Not the same level of frequency.
I think anyone you could come up with at most is going to be comparable. They're not going to be more exciting than Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's funny about Justin is that when he fought Tony Ferguson, I was listening to somebody break down his fights, who's not usually a guy who breaks down fights. John Nash. He did a lot of work for Bloody Elbow, talking about the lawsuit, and all the information that we have is because of him and Anton Tombuena, I believe his name was, for bringing up a lot of the information that we knew or found out, or could basically say, yep, we had an idea and this is proof. He brought up Justin as basically a mini Dan Henderson. Like, just the power that he would be willing to throw in his right hand, and then the fact that, like, he's just got this unbreakable will, even sometimes that works against him, but he's gonna deliver, and he's not a guy to disappoint. Justin Gaethje is that. Like, you know why you're watching a Justin Gaethje fight, and he's one way or another gonna deliver you a fight that you're gonna want to watch.
Yeah, I feel comfortable saying that unlike some other fights in the past that we thought were guaranteed to be fireworks, this one, it will not disappoint. There's no way.
No. And if it does, I feel like we would rightly be justified in being ridiculed by the Discord for our take.
Much like my prior statement about if Whaley doesn't come in and ragdoll Jan, you can ridicule me all you like. Same goes here. If this fight ends up being a stinker, I'll eat the biggest crow imaginable.
Yeah. Everyone will. There's no one suggesting this fight's going to be dull. You'd have to be crazy. And it is funny because I was against it when I first did it. I didn't want to see Justin versus Max. But
no, because the fight didn't fucking make sense. Max was literally, he almost has the ability to get a fight for the title because Volk wasn't going to be ready, and realistically, he should just take a year off. But no, God forbid we fucking let Max have his moment. He's already killed 2 contenders in the division. Why are we taking him away from the title? And then on top of it, we're also taking away a goddamn contender in the lightweight division with fucking Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier, for some fucking reason, wants to go ahead and talk about how, I'm deserving, I'm going to be available. Fuck you, dude. No, you're not. He just knocked you out. What the fuck are we talking about here? God damn.
Wow. Austin hitting the accelerator there. Jesus.
I'm sorry. I've been holding on for that for a minute. It's just been bugging me. God damn it.
I didn't want to see it when they announced it. I still don't want to see it, but I'll be goddamn if I ain't gonna fucking watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something there, and Austin's rant's constantly taking me away from about.
I'm sorry. It's just it's been bubbling and it's been bugging me. I just it's gonna be a great fight though. Like I can't hate it. Like it's gonna be a goddamn entertaining. This is the one moment where you can pat the UFC on the back and be like, "You greedy
Yeah.
fucks, you did it." For all the shit we give them, you know what? At first we hated this fight. Where at the end of the night we're gonna be fucking standing up,
that's
clapping,
what
and crying and shit.
I've remembered where I was going to go. Obviously, Max said, he knew that if Topuria beat Volk, then in all likelihood there was going to be a rematch. So there
Yeah,
was no
oh,
point sitting around waiting for that to happen. He might as well
Yeah,
fight.
see-
And obviously, calling out Justin Gaethje for the BMF belt is it's we can say whether it's a real belt or not, but obviously fight is something to fight in a certain way, and the fans like it. I'm not averse to it. It's a little gimmick. It's kind of fun, and and it's given us this fight on UFC 300.
Yeah.
Before we move on, that we should mention we're gonna get to see some cool new shorts tomorrow night, or I mean Saturday night.
Well,
That's right.
Fancy new Venom gear for the
Yeah.
top
I've seen
3 fights.
Alex's. I haven't seen anyone else's.
They're all pretty cool.
Um,
Justin's
Has Max got his
yeah.
flowered shorts though?
Yeah, he does. Yep. Max got
Nice.
floral. Wei Lee got like a red and gold dragon print. And
Ooh.
Justin got like a, I don't even know how to describe it, almost like a camouflage American flag type deal where it's like
Bastardization of the flag? Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, violation of flag code.
Set Luke Thomas off on one.
All right. Yeah. BC would love it, but Luke's gonna be like, why would you do this? What do you think? I don't know what I picked on the Discord, I'll be honest. I am hoping and praying to God that Max gets out of this fight and pulls off a fucking upset. And I hate saying that, just knowing the chaos factor that comes with that. I have to root for Max, and I think I have to pick Max. I as a fan, I have to do it. I love Justin Gaethje. I got to pick Max, and I'm going to say decision.
All right, I'll go seeing as I'm pretty positive. We know Dangermouse is going to pick Gaethje here.
Really? Did I give it away?
I think anyone that has spent any time conversing with me on the Discord or has listened to this podcast at all knows that I'm basically the biggest Max Holloway stan out there next to our boy Daz. So I gotta do it. Despite my reservations and my worries and my concerns, I'm going with Max Holloway here.
Daz.
I'm outnumbered. There is one other thing I meant to break up, and it's just popped back into my mind. Justin Gaethje is now 35. So if this counts as a real belt, does the 35 stat now come into play?
Dun.
Actually, that's a good point. What's the ratio on BMF fights with the fighters, right?
Can't be much. There's not a very large sample size, right?
I'll say, yeah, there's only been, 2, 3?
Justin, Dustin, Max, Justin.
Yeah. There's
Masvidal and Nate.
Jorge and Nate. And that was
That's it.
Yeah, just those 3. Well,
Masvidal
these 3.
I think Masvidal was older than Nate, and I think Dustin was older than Justin. And
I bet with
Max.
with Jorge and Nate's ages in there, it probably drives the average age up over 35, I bet.
I think it was too.
Probably pretty close.
Arguably, though, that for the over 35 argument, that doesn't count because they're both over 35. So unless the belt floats into the air and says, nah, I'm not allowing you to wear me, It's not happening. So someone over 35 has to win at that.
Are we basically realizing that the BMF title is the over 35 belt?
Yes.
Yeah,
For the guys over 35 who no longer really got a shot.
I mean, yeah.
it's a gimmick, but you know, like
It's
I
a
say,
good one.
it's brought us this fight. So,
I
and it
think
brought
what they
us,
should.
and it brought us Gaethje versus Dustin as well. Tell me you didn't want to see that fight.
Yeah, I think it's just a weird circumstance that they do it, and it's like it's shoehorned into the production of
Yeah.
whatever the fight card is. If they did it like as here's an
You're not
introduction
going to
to a new.
suggest weight by weight, are you? Because I have heard that.
No. Specifically this, like, and I think it can work. Nate, Jorge, Dustin, and Justin, and now Max, I would say, would all arguably be guys that you could introduce into a new weight class, correct? And they all float between lightweight and welterweight.
That's true. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess Gaethje could, but he's never shown any interest in fighting at 170 whatsoever.
Oh no, this would
Correct
not
me
be
if
for
I'm wrong there.
170. This would be for 165, and that's me
Oh, I
introducing
see
the
what you mean.
idea of
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I thought you were meaning with current weight divisions.
No. Like
Okay.
you can keep the guys at 170, move them up 5 pounds. If they want to stay at 170, you would move up 5 pounds to stay welterweight.
Tough shit. Pick either 165 or 175.
Yeah. I mean, there's very few fighters I think that would only benefit at 170 that wouldn't benefit at 175. You know what I mean? Kevin Gastelum might get better because now he can eat regularly like he used to and not have to worry about a drastic weight cut.
Where does Colby end up?
Probably 65. Then we get to see Dustin versus Colby, and Colby would probably get knocked out, God willing, but no, neither here nor there. God damn it. We've gotten off track with this one. So me and Laser on Justin or Max Holloway. Danger has picked.
I am going for
Justin
Justin.
Gaethje.
Yeah, I have to.
So the other two fights on it are Charles Oliveira, Arman Sarukian, and Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. I hate the idea that that's on this pay-per-view. Cody Brundage versus Bo Nickel. So
that's why you picked Cody.
I mean,
yeah. That
don't judge me.
That was the 2-pick one I spotted, and I was like, I know who that is.
Yep, I had a feeling.
And I checked, and sure enough, it was you.
I hate the idea that it's there. Look. I have nothing against him personally. It's just the fact that I've heard it so often, and it's the same thing with the kid at 135, who's 18, I think now.
Rosas.
Yeah, Rosas.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, we get it, dude. You're a young dude, and Bo Nickel's accomplished as a grappler and wrestler. You know, had Kyle Dake not been around, he probably would have been a guy who qualifies as an Olympian, but it's not the case. I think you had specifically pointed that out. Lazy.
Sure as shit did.
Oh my god. I hate the concept of this fight existing on the pay-per-view.
My feeling towards this one is, I get it. I understand why they're doing it. They feel like they got a future champion here. They know that time is short. He's not exactly, the youngest guy. I mean, what is he, 29? I think he's 29.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you're getting a late start in MMA. They know time is short, but they know what they got on their hands. They want to maximize the amount of time, the window that they have. So they're pushing this guy to the moon. They're shoving him down our throats because they think that they got something here. My whole gripe with this is, if you're going to give him a slot like this as the opening bout, the tone setter, the curtain jerker for the main card of UFC 300, you got to pair him against somebody better than Cody fucking Brundage.
Why would you?
It doesn't have to be.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anyone crazy, but at least somebody with some name value, a legend on the way out, somebody that he could. It could still be.
GM3 I've seen suggested that wouldn't have been a bad fight for him.
I've even heard Weidman thrown around.
Mm.
Timeline doesn't exactly work out because of the injuries,
No.
but that would have been a better fit for a card like this, in my opinion. Like, I got no problem with you guys wanting to put your next hot commodity on the big show, but you got to at least put him in there with somebody that carries some clout.
Yeah, that's all. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Plus, he's only got 5 wins on 5 fights on his professional record. Like, we could have literally kept him on the Contender Series, and he rattled off 10 fucking wins in a row. And guess what?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to worry about him like not having a record that means anything. It actually means something because he's got experience, and it was all on Dana White's Contender Series, which is on ESPN. Like, that boosts ratings and whatever. Real competition. Then you just put him on Apex cards. 1 Apex card, 2 Apex card, 3 Apex card, then a contender. Like, I don't know. I feel like we know how to do this better than the UFC does, but then they also give us Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. So I don't know. It's all stupid. It's all fucking stupid. I also don't like Bo Nickel. He just looks like that asshole that.
Yeah.
I said I didn't have anything personal against him. He just, I don't know. There's something about his fucking face that.
He's just
I
that
don't know.
stereotypical jock doofus from fucking every 80s movie that you've ever seen.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in every movie.
Yeah, literally. He's
Yeah,
that fucking.
That's fair. As a Brit, I can definitely define that. Yeah, he does have that American jock bully look to him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but somebody posted the little. I think it's Alex Bahunin, the reporter that does the things where he asks the fighters like the list of their favorite things.
Mhm.
Oh, for fun, yeah.
Yeah, and somebody posted the Bo Nickel one, and it was just the most fucking stereotypical shit you could ever think of. Like,
I
what's your
don't
favorite
play video
food?
games.
Great. What's your favorite quote? The man in the arena. What's
Oh,
your
dear God.
It literally it was just fucking copy and pasted from like the jock handbook.
I did
Yeah.
see a quote from Jamal Hill that I liked earlier on tonight. They asked him what his favourite moment in the UFC was, and it was Leon Edwards knocking out Kamaru Usman. And I was like, oh yeah,
That's fair.
I
That's a
like
good
you.
moment, though.
I like you a bit more now, Hill.
Yeah.
That's a solid pick.
I'll be fair. I'm gonna pick Cody because I dislike Nickel in this whole fight.
Yeah, we
I'm
knew.
just being spiteful. I fucking dislike this shit a lot. God damn it.
Hey, he might get you never know. He might pull off a Strickland moment.
Oh dear
Yeah.
God, I hope
Or
it's so true.
Islam Makhachev was knocked out in what was his second fight in the UFC?
Guess what the odds are for this fight currently?
Minus 1,200. Sorry, yeah.
Minus 2,500 for Bo and plus 1,000 for Cody on ESPN currently.
I was meaning to
That's
say
what they
plus,
have it.
but
So that means that some money is coming in on Brundage, because last I heard he was plus 1,400.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So there is some money coming in.
Yeah, the CME co-main event podcast says that they have a segment where it's like $20 you never want to see again. Yeah.
I mean, there is
That'd
always
be-
that possibility. Cody does have a good guillotine or guillotine, and he could catch Bo shooting in for one of them takedowns, wrap up a guillotine, and I mean, you never know.
Maybe.
don't be silly. Jump the gilly.
Yeah, you're right. God, that meme will never die.
You miss everyone. You
I
don't
saw Dan Hardy
Yeah, exactly.
suggesting that Alex might pull that off as a move against Jamal Hill.
No, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. If you fucking say that and he does it, I swear to God, Mouse.
Hey, blame Dan Hardy, not me. It's not my idea.
Oh my God.
Dan Hardy's smoking that good shit with Veronica. He's can't take his
That's
word
true. All right, let's close out this one. I'm picking Cody Brundage because fuck this fight. Just me being spiteful.
I would like to see Cody win, but I think, obviously you got to go Bo.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no argument. I'm going Bo.
All right then. What's
I don't like those odds.
No, it seems like it's a trap, and that's for a reason. But again, it's probably going to be Bo. So there you go. We'll go back to the second fight from that above it, which was Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan. Which, what's interesting? I think this is supposed to be a number one contender fight, but I think they just labeled it as a title eliminator because they don't know what they're currently doing at lightweight. And Arman is the only guy to break through the top 5 guard that was Benny, Dustin, Justin, and Charles, and then Islam, right? Because at some point they all faced younger contenders, right? Or majority of them did. That's the thing I think with this one. This is like the last one because Benny beat Gamrot originally. Charles now has to face Arman. Justin just beat Rafael Fiziev, and Dustin just beat Benoit Saint-Denis, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the last push for the current like young contenders.
Yeah.
Before they have to rewash and whatnot, and I just think it's interesting because Charles isn't even that old.
How old is he?
He's well, actually, I say that, but he's like 34.
Isn't he? He's 35.
34.
34.
He's on the younger side of the division.
Yeah.
I think he's like 33, 34.
It's like he's got until October 17th to get this shit done.
Yeah, exactly.
October 17th, he turns 35, and it's all downhill.
Oh, yeah.
When that binary goes off.
As the scriptures have foretold.
I don't know about this one. In these last couple of fights, I mentioned Gaethje versus Fiziev. I was nudged in the direction of regretted my pick, not just because I'd abandoned Justin Gaethje, but he won as well, which made it even worse for me.
No.
And then BSD versus Poirier. I picked BSD because I like BSD. He's a entertaining fighter, and he lost that one. So I'm tempted to stick with the old dog on this one and stay with Charles. I'm not sure. I can't remember that much about Tsarukyan, to be honest. So I just Charles is just a sneaky character.
We did a breakdown of this fight where he murdered Benny.
We do a lot of breakdowns on fights around here.
Yeah, on the surface, about a lot of shit. I've got a memory like a goldfish sometimes. Leave me alone.
You know what? That's fair. It's fine. Sometimes they just rattle these events off too pretty quick. What do you think, Lazy?
Well, this one here, I think for a lot of the more well-versed, educated MMA fans, is probably one of the more interesting fights on the card. Heard a lot of people, the talking heads in the MMA sphere, with a lot to say on this one. Yanni the Greek and Nick Kalikas from UFC on the Line. I think this was both of their biggest bets of the card were on this fight. I'm almost certain. So people got strong feelings one way or the other on this one, and I think that a lot of people kind of feel like it's the because the odds right now, if I'm not mistaken, Charles is the underdog pretty heavily, and Tsarukyan's favored, and they're saying that it's almost like a trap to get people to try to get people to bet Oliveira because he's the more household name, the more well-known guy. So they're trying to draw that money in because the sharps in Vegas and the casinos, they feel like it's a lock that Tsarukyan's going to win this thing. I'm not so certain. Kind of like Mouse was saying, Oliveira's sneaky. Just when you think that he's going up against the guy that's guaranteed to beat him, he finds a way to pull this thing out. I think it was Luke recently said that none of Tsarukyan's opponents have ever been credited with an official submission attempt against him.
Yep.
So that's a pretty telling stat. And if we know anything about Charles, submission king of the UFC, if there's going to be a guy that could at minimum attempt an official submission and potentially lock one in, it's going to be him. I don't think Armin's going to be scared to go to the ground with Charles, so he could find himself falling into the spider's web. I think Armin is the younger, better athlete. Tons of upside. A lot of people are really high on him. I think I'm going to go with the old dog here too. I'm going to go with Charles Oliveira to get the W.
Oh. I don't know. Does that make me the odd man out then? Oh. Mouse, dead wrong
What?
me if I'm not. Does that mean I feel like I picked Armin?
Sorry,
Does
yeah. I'll have a look for you. I thought you were asking me in general.
I genuinely thought I was gonna sway to Charles, but there's something that tells me the way Islam handled him originally, and the way Charles was looking previous to that fight, there was an opportunity that I felt Islam could take advantage of. Now, that's not to say that he's not still dangerous off his back or he's not dangerous when he stands. I mean, we've seen that. I think, what was it? Both the Dustin Poirier fight and the Justin Gaethje fight, he basically dared them to jump into his guard after he got hurt, right? He would fall backwards. And neither of them said, no, I'm good.
Gaethje said he regretted it. He should have gone down.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And you've picked Armin at the moment, Austin. So.
Yep, that's okay. I wanted to make sure because I feel like, yes, I had to pick Armin just based off of the history that Armin is this dominant grappler who just does not fall for traps. He's very particular about how he grapples. He may not be the best stand-up artist. He's like a mini version of Islam and Khabib. He's got the better grappling and more dominant assertiveness in the takedowns that Khabib had. But he's also got control and dynamic explosiveness that Islam has. He's like a mini version of both of them at lightweight, which honestly he's a featherweight size. I don't know why he hasn't tried. Maybe he's too big, but whatever. It's worked for him so far. And his toughest fight was Islam, except for that short notice against that De Silva guy. But even then, he still got the job done against it. I think Armin has the ability to quell all of the grappling prowess that Charles has. Then he's also hard to hit. He's not that guy that you can take advantage of standing all the time because he's putting you on your back more often than not. Which means I have to pick him because I'm pretty sure Armin's going to take him to the deep waters and beat the shit out of him. God damn it.
This is going to be a hell of a night of fights. That's all.
Oh, yeah. You guys want to do one more or something else, or you guys want to call it?
If there's anything else you want to talk about, we can.
The only thing I would say is rating the only 3 Centennial events from your best to worst. And now I know we're doing this before the 300 event, but I think it would be interesting. Like your hype, not the results necessarily or the build of the card, but your general assessment, like your general interest in UFC 100. Probably is top tier, second to this, right? And then 200 is probably your bottom tier. Does this beat out UFC 100 more or less, right? Is this your top Centennial event?
I say, yeah, hands down. I mean, you go back and you look at that 100 card, and yeah, the top of it was pretty solid, but then when you started getting into them lower bouts, you really fall off in quality. The statistics alone for like the amount of champions and fight night bonuses and shit that's on this card is fucking mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like the accolades that the fighters on this fight card have accumulated are fucking incredible. There's some statistic that if you took like every champion that's ever existed or every person that's ever been crowned a champion in the UFC from the beginning, 10% of them are fighting on this card.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
I've vaguely remember that I watched UFC 100 because I do remember poor old Michael Bisping and that kind of stuff. But that was right at the time I was playing online poker around that time, and I used to just throw it on, kind of, somewhere away on the screen and half pay attention to it. I wasn't anywhere near as enthusiastic about MMA as and 200, I guess. Okay, so no, but yeah, as Lazy said, the amount of talent on this card, regardless of the main event, which hopefully will turn out to be a bit of a banger. But I know it was so overhyped, or the card was overhyped. Blame Dana for that.
yeah.
He advertised correctly, but it's the wrong word to advertise it, because it is the greatest card in UFC history, but it just doesn't have the greatest main event in UFC history. I know some people would like to have seen Conor here, but there's no way that the UFC is wasting Conor on a centennial event. They might as well stick him on some other fight week. I don't care about seeing Conor anyway, particularly, but just for the business side of it. So yeah, biggest UFC out of the three of them has to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. Like this, just the amount of enthusiasm, everybody's talking about it as
For Christ's
anybody
sake,
that we know.
The opener for the prelims is two
Yeah.
former champions.
Yeah.
What else can you say? That's just crazy.
Right? Yeah, you
And
can't. I don't think you
hope
can.
Cody Garbrandt gets his head knocked off.
Oh God. The only mention of that fight, you're like, nah, fuck that guy.
Absolutely, yeah. You know my opinion on neck tats. I hope Davison knocks it off him.
It's not his fault. He was young.
It's his
But
fault. He fucking had it put on his skin. Plus, he's an idiot half the time.
You know what? Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Can't really blame you on that one.
Boys.
Is it the boys?
The boys.
Dominic Cruz dissecting him was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was cynical as hell. I bet. For me personally, yeah, this one's got to be on the top of the list just because we're in a different era. Like you could just tell just from the time UFC 100 took place to the time UFC 200 took place was just in a completely different ball game. And then on top of it, you add on the time and everything that's come around, the lawsuit, the turnover of fighters, the fact that we have a contender series that's busting out these Apex events and everything, the contract situation, the fact that the UFC now has a stranglehold stronger than anything else that we've ever seen prior. And yet we are here to indulge ourselves in this event. And
we're gonna suffer after it. Bear that in mind.
we're gonna go right back to the slop after this, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We have a week break before then, so it's okay. We'll survive.
Savor the taste, because you're gonna be eating slop for the next few days.
Yeah, exactly. I said it on the Discord. I said on Discord, they've made us slog through fucking Apex shows for 4 years now. If you're not fucking hyped for this card, there's something goddamn wrong with you, because we're finally getting some sort of payoff for all of our fucking hardships.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's almost here.
Exactly.
The moment of silliness. If you could pick a main event for this card, what would you have? Let your imagination go wild.
If I could have anybody I wanted,
any main event you wanted. Obviously, they have to be alive. You can't pick somebody who's dead.
John Jones, Tom Aspinall.
Oh, that's good.
That is the correct answer.
That's good.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have gone with probably
Leon versus Bilal.
No. I would have probably gone with Islam versus Leon.
Ooh, that would have been a fun one.
That I would have done that, but if I didn't get that, I would have been okay with Max Holloway versus Sean O'Malley, just to see O'Malley get his ass kicked. That would have been fun. But it's neither here nor there.
That sounds like a fun fight, actually.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Or, I mean, hell, if you were going to put another fight on this, Sean Strickland versus Robert Whittaker would have been fun too. But you know what? Yeah.
Yeah,
Beggars
well,
can't be choosers, right?
you're getting Bobby Knuckles versus Ham, so enjoy.
Shit. God damn it. Everybody's fucking downing him again. Well, we're getting off tangent. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up before we close out the show?
I don't think so. Other than like and subscribe if you managed to make it this far somehow.
If you've sat through us rambling on for this long and also sat through all the other content that I'm sure you've consumed regarding this card over the last fucking week, 2 weeks, month, good on you. You're a fucking hardcore. And I hope you all enjoy these fights Saturday night. I hope that you got your friends and your family around and you're gathered around that TV and it's that night of fights that we've all been longing for and waiting for. And I hope it harkens back to the days of old and brings up that nostalgic fight night feeling in your gut.
That's a good sell. That's a good sell.
And Merry Christmas to you all.
Fuck you, Craig.
Fuck you, Craig. All right. This has been our preview of UFC 300. Thank you all for listening, and this is Just Bleed Radio. And for that, from our count of casuals, Dangermouse, and our man in Ohio, Lazybed, the man who is in your chats and DMs for whatever show that you may be watching, and our master editor-in-chief, Dave.
Dave's not here.
And Chatri, and everybody else watching, and myself, no special.
And don't
Thank
forget
you.
Steven.
Yes, Steven, thank you. Yes, that's who I was forgetting. I almost forgot Steven. Steven's cool. Thank you. This has been Just Bleed Radio. Please like and subscribe. And let's fucking go! But we fucking did it! Yeah!
Yeah, we got something in the can.
Us and a million other fucking podcasts.
Oh, the degenerates are gonna love it. They don't fucking care at this point, right?
It's been fun doing it.
At least Perfect Speller will listen.
Oh my god, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What number one fan?
This is gonna be so fucking good. This fucking fight week is fucking the shit. And also joining us from the UK is our Duke of Casuals. God damn it.
Fuck you, Craig.
I'm your host, Austin, and I suck dick.